Caleb with Brownells here, back with more guns, or rather gear, of Escape from Tarkov. And I am joined again by Jesse Halteman, aka JesseKazam, Twitch streamer and YouTuber for Escape from Tarkov. Jesse, we're going to be talking about the armor system a little bit here. So I have none other than armored plates.
Yep. Yeah, so when we talk about Escape from Tarkov, the kind of thing that sets them apart, sets that game apart, is their kind of at least attempt to be really committed to representing everything in the game as realistic as they can and as realistic as makes sense. And a lot of times we talk about that through the lens of guns and firearms and the modularity and how they're handled, but also with the armor and the armor systems and how you protect yourself in game as well. So it's cool to see this kind of stuff in real life. In Tarkov, a lot of times this is already slotted into rigs and stuff like that. So it's actually my first time really seeing these plates just kind of out and sitting here. So it's cool to kind of dive into how armor works.
Yeah, because in the game currently, anyways, which it's my understanding that it's not going to be like this in the future, but currently, once you buy a rig or you get a rig in the game, the plates are already in it.
Yep.
And you can't change out those plates for other plates. You can repair it if it gets damaged.
Yeah.
But like, for example, the slick.
Yeah.
That's a level 6 armor plate.
Yep.
And
Top
you
of the
can't
line.
change it out for anything else.
Nope.
And I kind of want to talk about the interesting thing here, because the slick at level 6, and we say level 6, so level 6, so 1 through 6, that's how they kind of rate their armor rating systems in Russia, where the game is developed. And we here in the United States rate it differently.
Okay.
So it's a 1 through 4 type thing.
Okay.
You can't compare the numbers directly because they're tested to different standards. But for example, like our level 4, like our top of the line level 4 would be equivalent to their level 6. So that just kind of gives you a rough idea of how it falls out.
That makes sense.
But where I was getting at with the interesting thing is that the slick in game at a level 6, really good setup.
Yeah, it's considered the best armor in the game currently.
Considered the best in the game, and it's a steel plate.
Okay.
So a lot of armor guys that know a lot about armor would say that's ridiculous. Like, how could a steel plate be the best in the game?
Interesting.
It's heavy. It would suck more than the rest it gets shot with, to be quite honest.
Oh, interesting.
Because, I mean, if you look at it here, like that steel plate right there, for example, it is just that. It's a piece of steel.
Yeah.
It has an anti-spall coating on it so that all the jackets and stuff from the bullet and the opposite side aren't fragmenting onto you, which is a huge plus.
That'd be a bad.
And your ceramic plates are already kind of doing that, so you don't have to have those coatings on it. But the ceramic plates are a lot thicker, and they actually can have a higher armor rating with less weight in most cases.
Interesting.
So the steel plate isn't really, in real life, IRL.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the best way to go.
And that's super interesting because it, once again, like with everything in Escape from Tarkov, I come at it from the gamer perspective. I get invested in wanting to learn and master the game, and then I end up learning a whole lot about how this stuff works in real life that I didn't know before. But it's a really complex system in the game with exactly that, with different ceramic and steel and combined materials and all sorts of stuff. And in the game, those will all react differently and repair differently and cost different amounts and stuff like that and weigh differently. And so, but we are just kind of trained from the gamer perspective as whatever's the best, class 6, whatever is the lightest, because the weight system in the game is pretty aggressive, is what we go for. So we go for the slick a lot. But as you alluded to, one of the kind of crown features of the game, at least from the development side, that they're really excited to get in and that they think is really going to change the game, and I agree, is actually having the traders sell these plates. Then you can buy whatever rig you like, how it's set up, or even customize that rig to your setup and then add those two together. So a TV-110 rig in the game is just always a class 4 armor, a slick is always a class 6, and always a steel. So it'd be cool to be able to buy those rigs and swap out different plates into them.
Yeah, and I think once they do that, the slick itself, or the steel plate itself, is going to go from being like the top in the game to one of the mid to low tier in the game because of that reason. Because now you're not kind of forced to use that. Even though it has a really high armor rating, it's heavy.
Yeah.
And you can use something else with the equal armor rating that's a lot lighter now.
Yeah.
And you can put it in whatever rig you want, which is how it is in real life. All of your armor systems like that use these plates, you can pull the plates out and swap plates easy.
Yeah, and that was actually a question I had. You know, in Tarkov right now, you can repair armors.
Yep.
Is that really not a thing? I mean, I'm looking at this one in front of me. This is probably beyond repair. You would just replace it.
You would replace it, yeah. Like that ceramic plate right there. So this one here has been shot several times with M80, so 7.62 by 51 M80. Like none of them went through.
4 times, 5 times.
Yeah, so there you go. That one, you would just replace it. You're not repairing that.
Which I think, going back to the realism thing, you know, it's some people kind of get caught up in that word. You know, it's a video game at the end of the day, so it has to be a video game. But seeing this plate take 3-4 shots of M80 is pretty crazy, because sometimes, you know, it can almost feel frustrating. Like, I keep shooting this guy. Why is he not going down? The fact that, you know, sitting in front of me, holding in my hand, is a ceramic plate here that took 4 shots of M80, and I'm looking at the back of it and none made it through. I'm sure you didn't have a good day getting hit that many times with M80, right? But it is pretty, truly unbelievable coming from the gaming side that this is even possible. And this is a ceramic plate, right?
That's a ceramic plate,
so
yep.
That compared to what? This is the steel?
That's the steel.
Oh my God. This weighs like 2 or 3 times as much. And
this is a higher armor rating than
really?
That one. Yes.
Yeah, this is huge. So if we're talking about what I want to be running around with, it's not this. I mean, this is thin, so I'm sure that that's helpful in some ways, but this is
okay. So
incredibly heavy.
We can take that a step further. So the weight of that steel one, and this is the same exact armor rating as that steel one, but it is super lightweight.
This one? Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable.
Like, picking that up, you wouldn't think that stops bullets.
Yeah, no, like, you know, I can hold this with 2 fingers. Like,
yeah.
This is the same armor rating as this right here?
Same exact armor rating, a fraction of the weight.
That's unbelievable.
So it's a whole nother
So it'll be really interesting to see if the repair feature even sticks around in the game long term, because if there's the ability to purchase these from either the vendors or the flea market or whatever, then I would imagine that would almost always be the way to go, because when you repair something in the game right now, you lose a bit of its total durability. You can't repair it all the way up to where it was, so why not just swap it out for a new plate?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's going to be a big thing coming to the game.
Yeah.
If I had to, you know, fortune tell a little bit.
Yeah.
But here's the same, you know, poly plate, the ultra lightweight, and this one's been shot, looks like 5 times with M855.
Which is an incredibly interesting experience to see. I mean, I can barely tell that this has been shot at all. This has been shot 5 times with 5.56, one of the most common rounds in the game, compared to this being shot 4 times with M80.
Yeah.
7.62. I mean, I know a lot of us like our 308 MDRs or our SA58s or even a lot of the sniper rifles, but it's pretty insane to see the difference in the size of the hole in these plates with those rounds is pretty wild.
Yeah, and it all comes down to that energy.
Yeah.
That how much energy that round has when it's impacting on target. And that's really what it all comes down to. And another thing here, you know, you get hit with any one of these, you're going to be having a bad day.
Bad day.
You're not going to be, if you were running and sprinting and you get hit, you're probably not going to be running and sprinting still. You're probably going to fall down. You're going to do something. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because that energy hits the plate. It's dispersed across the plate, but the plate's not going to eat all of it.
Yeah.
You're eating some of that energy. A lot of that energy, actually. So that's kind of another factor I'd like to see moving around a little bit.
Yeah, because you're relatively unaffected, especially if you're getting shot in the chest. Sometimes you can lose some stamina, but a lot of times you can just kind of keep trucking. So these are basically designed to absorb as much of that energy, I guess, especially with the thicker ceramic ones as possible, but there's always going to be some that transfers to you. And it also brings up a lot of interesting points about the different types of ammo. We talked in some of the Guns of Tarkov videos about how, you know, once again, as a gamer, as a nerd, learning a lot about how this stuff works in real life, that, you know, there isn't just 5.56 round. There's 10 or 11, and some of them are engineered to penetrate these plates, I'm imagining, or something that you would you wouldn't want to use against this because it's more designed to kind of destroy flesh targets or something,
right?
Which is a whole nother kind of world behind the armor and ammo and how all that works. But I feel like it's pretty fairly represented in Tarkov. I've learned a lot about how that stuff works in the game for sure.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And, you know, another thing to kind of note here is that whenever they develop a new armor-piercing round, armor-piercing rounds are made to defeat these.
Yeah.
They then develop a new plate to stop it.
Yeah,
And then a new
that's
round.
interesting.
And then so it's that kind of battle, you know.
It pushes the advancement of both things because
Right.
you kind of need one when the other one is too strong. You need the ability to. Interesting.
Yeah, and then another misconception we see a lot with these, and this depends on what state you live in and local laws and stuff like that, is that you can't buy body armor. But all of these are made here, 100% made in the United States. This is an Iowa company, RMA Armament, and they manufacture all these plates not too far from us, actually. And you can buy these.
Interesting.
Like you, as a person, can go online. You can go to Brownells.com, order them, or you can go to RMAArmament.com and order them direct from the manufacturer.
Wow.
And you don't need to have any like special certifications or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's just another interesting fact to throw out. So
yeah, that's really cool. And I think almost like the last thing we can touch on is another thing that'll be coming soon is in the game right now. And the armor's gonna, if you have this armor on my chest, basically everything from my neck down to my stomach is covered, including my sides, including my back. And that's another part of this customizable rigs, and the plates coming individually will be, which is pretty unique in a video game, the fact that, you know, these aren't very large and they're made, I'm assuming, to cover vital organs and almost vital organs alone so you can stay as light as possible.
Yep.
Well, that means, you know, we talked about shotguns in a previous video where there's lots of pellets. That means there's a lot more in the game. It'll be more like real life where there's a lot of areas that you're going to be concerned about, not just right here.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of going to play more into the whole first aid system that's already pretty in-depth for the most part. But yeah, so that it's just going to keep snowballing from there and getting better and better. So yeah, that's I'll say the guns of Tarkov. That's some of the gear of Tarkov represented here in real life. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are on Twitch, go ahead and follow JesseKazam on Twitch. And also, don't forget to follow him on YouTube. So we're gonna be hitting the range in a little bit here.
Yep.
So we're gonna have additional footage coming at you. So stay tuned.